Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. So, I have been playing a lot of Iratus Lord of the Dead. You can see 3 episodes. I kinda play into the end of the dungeon. I would, as I said, I would record one more video when I unlock more things and stuff like that. But in the end, I end up reaching the end of the early access build at this moment. At this moment, we have 3 dungeons, so you can get a reasonable sense. You can unlock a lot of things. And I have to say, I have having a good time. I have been having a good time. Holy shit. English, please. So, what is this game? That's the big thing. One of the best ways that I can place is this is a flip on Darkest Dungeon. On when Darkest Dungeon you're controlling the heroes, this time you're controlling the bad guy. But that would be a very in so many ways a disservice to the game because the game has a lot of different aspects between here and Darkest Dungeon. And one of the major aspects I'm starting to thinking after playing a lot, after starting kind of playing again, is the way to go on a dungeon. And that is, in some ways, a big aspect. On Dark's Dungeon, you have dungeons you select. Each week you go to a dungeon, and so on and so on. Here the thing's different. Time does not pass per dungeon completion, but it does pass to combat. Which means each time you go for and go forward on a dungeon, it doesn't mean time will pass. Only will pass on combat. And that is one thing, because your minions only recover like health if they are standby, if there is after you finish combat, and even if you place them on facilities that regen their health, again that only happen after combat. So managing multiple teams is very needed. You will probably need to have more than one team. And maybe it's just me, and I learned that way through the hard way, as you've seen probably the 3 episodes. Health damage is not that great during the clear moments of the dungeon. And that's maybe a spoiler warning, but yeah. During the main dungeon, and maybe, for example, on the first 2 bosses, like the quote unquote tutorial boss, the other 2, and the second, like the first real boss, you can literally go with whatever team you want, and you're probably not gonna have like that bad of a time doing. But the second 2 bosses, well, let's just say that in stress it's problematic, but because 3 of their minions will not have stress bars. So because of that, you're going to have a quote of a problem. Maybe during I don't want to illustrate boss fight here, but just figure that. In the end, I start to maybe believe then the thing is, for clearing dungeons, go on a stress build. My personally favorite one end up being a mummy, 2 wraiths, and a banshee. This fucking build carried me throughout the entire game. And let me tell you more. If I had a notion, if I like with my knowledge now, starting a new campaign, I would easily be building a 2 teams on this exactly state, this exactly mode. And before anyone asks, you do not start with mommy. You have to open her during time. Utilize 2 of the Dark Knights. Work fantastically. They have a stance. Then every time the enemy get buffed, they end up doing stress damage, and that's fan fucking tastic. And if you get the ring that I get, the one who gives health for minions, if you don't lose anyone, God bless you. You're gonna be on top of things. Now, again, besides that point, I do believe in health damage on the normal clearing of the dungeon, it's not good. It was literally the most of the time when I go for health damage during the entire time, the entire playthrough, I always end up losing more than I end up gaining, and that is one of the biggest points. The biggest difference between Darkest Dungeon and Iratus Lord of the Dead is losing minion here and a hero in Darkest Dungeon. Think like this. On the Darkest Dungeon, you simply lose a minion. It does suck. If you don't get a party wipe, it's fucking okay. You get the trinkets back. You're gonna get a little bit pissed off because you have to train the fucking minion again from beginning to end to the level it were, but it's not gonna be that of a problem if you're not running with like thousands of class mods. It's not gonna be that difficult getting the same class than you get again. So yeah, in the end, you're mostly like okay. Now here, minions cost a fuck ton. After each battle, you gain parts, and there is a little bit of a quote unquote. There is even two, but there is places where you can get parts during the playthrough. In the same way, then there is places on your state Darkest Dungeon. Here you have your crypt. You upgrade by sacrificing minions, which I find very interesting. You sacrifice these upgrade buildings. They can get you more material to upgrade the crypt, material to upgrade and to create more minions, experience, and even heal the life of your minions. Because one thing, the life of your minions here works similar to stress in Darkest Dungeon. After you clear the section, because on Darkest Dungeon is an entire dungeon, here is just a one combat is a section, quote unquote. You don't get a full heal on your minions. You barely get any heal, but the minions who weren't in combat, they receive a little bit of health back in the same way than idle units on Darkest Dungeon get a little bit of stress heal. And except if you place them on some of the facilities who heal stress, they're not gonna heal a larger portion. Here it works a little bit different because if you place minions on the facility to heal health, they're gonna go back to 100%. So, highly recommend to do that the faster than you can. Okay, back to the point. The thing is, here minions cost a lot more because you have to acquire the parts, gain parts by each after combat or quote unquote weekly report, or after gaining a battle, winning a battle, you get a couple. There's a little bit of events who can give you both minions and parts, but mostly you're gonna get from finishing a combat. And that is one of the most problems, quote unquote, the big problem here. Losing one minion can set you back a lot. During the game, I noticed that, and even if here there is very fast ways to regain that, you're still gonna need to craft the materials again, because each material will have a plus, and I don't know if they all are like random, or for example, each type of material does have a specific set of traits that it can give to your minion. I really didn't have enough. I didn't do enough testing to that. But in the end, is you lose a lot. And here, when you lose a minion, if he's carrying trinkets, you're fucked. You lose that trinket. Furthermore, you cannot even change the trinkets. Once you place a trinket on the minion, it's stuck there forever. If you place another trinket up, like on top, you lose the previous one. It's gone. The only trinkets then you can swap around are the ones that you use on Iratus, your character, and that's all. Besides all of that, whatever, all fun and games. As I said, this game punishes you a lot more. But, as I was saying, I noticed then maybe was my interpretation of the game was wrong, or maybe this is the right now at this point the quote unquote right way to play it. The stress build is the best build that you can do. On this footage, then you're probably gonna be seeing fucking up a lot, and mostly because the interval between the last playthrough and this set me up quite a bit because I was running. I was trying to throw minions to solve the problem, and that was not good because that is a thing. I was still trying to force the health damage, and it wasn't going very well. So at this point, you'll probably see me struggle with, even with the quote unquote best build. There was Banshee, Wraith, and Mummy. That's the build for clear dungeons. If I had to say a very easy way to plow through the game right about now is Banshee, Wraith, Mummy. Do this, get parts, get like better things. Then I don't know what you would do for bosses, but probably Bride. I fairly like the zombie for the gunpowder stuff. The knight is not bad. The skeleton is can be very necessary, but bosses don't do much of a stance. So one of the his biggest like fortes are off, and that's kind of one of the things. Even after I unlock a reasonable amount of things, I didn't feel like much changing my build. For example, during the game you unlock new minions. Different than on Dark's Dungeon, they don't come to you during events or during the stage code. You literally have to do stuff to unlock. For example, you have the Shade, I think. You had to trigger X amount of insanities. The zombie, there is the bone golem, you have to get X amount of bones, and there is the vampire, you have to get X amount of vampires, kill X amount of enemies, you unlock the lich. At the game, at this point, when I finish, I end up unlocking the lich, the mummy, the shade, the lost soul, and the dampener. I think is that what it is called. You will probably be seeing that. And to be honest, Lost Soul I found very bad. It's a character who helped the enemy. Like, it does buff you and really kind of quote unquote help, but it does. It can fuck you over a little bit more. The Shade is good, but the problem with the Shade was the, like, really the best one that I think I could have on that moment. It does have a very good stance to work around the stress, to work about stress. It would be something then if I had an other type of minion that does focus on stress damage besides Wraiths, then could capitalize a little bit better of the game on the game. I probably would do a second, like, how can I say, a second party formation utilizing Shade. I utilize here mostly because I was lacking minions. I need to like do more on the party. But the reality is, even after unlock all of those, I didn't feel like I need to change. But as I said, maybe if I start restart now with the mentality of doing stress, two stress build, one through I mean two stress party and one damage party, so I can go against the bosses. That maybe allow me to play with one or two different. But with that in mind, even so, let me tell you something. I don't see myself playing using the Lich. The Lich does a lot of like damage on your party, even killing members. Uh, it is very counterintuitive because again, it does. I can see the niche for it, but in the end, it does cost so fucking much losing a minion. Then I don't feel like it's advantageous to use the Lich. The other, like the Bone Golem, the Vampire, and the other ones I didn't unlock. The Ghoul I not even got closer to. The Zombie I like, but I think it does have a very particular playstyle. Then it's very slowish. I don't know. Now, let me finish on a positive note, because strangely as enough, even if I enjoyed this game a lot, I think this last the combat mostly, I feel a little bit negative, mostly because maybe I didn't get it, or maybe the game isn't that way, and it took me too long to understand, and that left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. The fact is, I don't know, the combat feels strange. But let me talk about the art style, because fuck, I love the art style. The animation feel a little bit janky, strange would be the most, but it does kind of fit a little bit more. For example, if you see like the swing of the sword of the Dark Knight, same goes for the skeleton. It is a little bit of a more janky. Maybe they will be refined. Like it or not, this game is early access, but still, in a lot of reasons, I do believe the art style is very good. I enjoy a lot the character designs from all aspects, from the humans, the dwarves, elves, and the zombies, your minions, yourself too. The only fucking thing that I would wish that could happen is the portrait of your character kind of changes a little bit during game. For as more you do, you get like more that necromancy, Lord of the Dead armor vibe. Not only like uh naked hobo. I don't know. Besides that, great game. I highly recommend. I'm trying to keep this video a little bit shorter than my usual quick look. But yeah, early access, yes, but still, I would recommend you keep a look at. Keep looking, put on your wish list, maybe follow, see how new patches affect the game, what they will be adding or not. In the end, still, great game. Still gonna say that I recommend it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's gonna be it for now. See you next time, and hell, only God knows what the fuck I'm gonna be placing on the next episode. Probably Titan Metal. Yeah, maybe that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. This was the video. If you enjoyed, leave it a like. If you didn't, leave it a dislike. If you have anything to say, please leave a comment. And if you want to see what the hell is gonna be coming next on this mess, subscribe. And see you guys on the next episode.